Welcome to YOUCANIC. In this video we're going to show you how to replace the clock spring on a Ford. Here we have a 2014 Ford Fusion, but this is going to apply to other Ford models, especially if your airbag looks similar to this and the steering wheel looks the same. So what you want to do is first you open the hood, then disconnect the negative battery terminal and wait 10 minutes. Then when you come inside, do press the horn a couple of times to make sure all electrical current is completely discharged. When handling airbags, you must be extremely careful because they can deploy and cause injuries or death. So once you have waited about 10-15 minutes, then you would come here, and first thing you're going to need to do is release the airbag. And to release the airbag, on the bottom of the steering wheel, right on here, you'll notice a hole. You'll take here we're using a Torx wrench. You insert it here, and then you'll be pushing on a spring right here. There's a spring that you'll be pushing right there. As you push that spring up, the bottom will release. Then you have to push this down and then up, and what that will do is will make sure that it unhooks up on the top here. You can see these hooks that hook up right there. Now on the back here we have you can have two connectors that go to the back of the airbag and one electrical connector. Okay, to pull these connectors, all you need to do is you pull out this orange piece, and then once that's out, you pull out this connector. You repeat it for this connector as well. Pull out the orange center piece, then pull out the yellow connectors, and then you have one more here. You gotta pull out this red clip first, and then you can press this connector and pull it out. Then carefully take the airbag and put it somewhere safe, and then right here at the center of the steering wheel, you're gonna have this 24mm bolt. So you need to break that loose. Kind of hold the steering wheel. Have somebody help you. Kind of hold the steering wheel as you break that loose. Once then you want to mark. We usually mark the steering wheel and the steering column right there with a marker, so that when we reinstall it, we'll put it back in the same position. Press this gray connector here. Press the clip and then pull it out to disconnect it. Now we can remove the steering wheel. Now when removing the steering wheel, it's important to not rotate this clock spring around. The next thing is you want to pull out this upper piece. Comes right off, so there's nothing that holds that in place, no screws other than just clips on the side. But this lower piece right here has got two screws. You have a T25 screw right here, so it's going to be this screw that you see right here, T25. It's right here, and then you have a 7mm screw that's further down. They both have to come off, and once you take both off, then you'll be able to pull this down, so we can reach the clock spring. And you can see the clock spring here. Now to remove the clock spring, you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4. These are Torx, and they're T10, Torx 10. So you get these, remove these screws. We have these loose, as you can see, and then you have to pull this. Now before you pull it, make sure you disconnect the gray connector down here. Okay, pull that off, and then right here is connected, but there are pins pressed in, so it's gonna have a little bit of resistance there coming out, but because you have this connector right here. But that's it. Now when you reinstall the clock spring, it's important to reinstall one when they're brand new. Clock springs are brand new, they're already centered, meaning that the position of the clock spring is going to be with the wheels pointing straight forward. Now it does become a little bit challenging when you install a clock spring that's been removed from a vehicle that was in an accident, or it's a used clock spring, because you do not know if that clock spring was removed with the wheels turned to the left or right. So, and if you do install that clock spring soon after it's installed, it might fail because the ribbon inside here, it might be too much to the left or right, not centered basically, and then stretch and break soon after. So that is what we would recommend installing a new clock spring. And also remember that before you disconnect that battery, the steering wheel should be pointing straight forward. So when we put the clock spring back on, it's gonna correspond to the wheels pointing straight forward. But to reinstall this, it's very simple now, straightforward. You are going to push this right here, make sure that this is pressed all the way in. Then you put all these T10 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. You wanna reinstall, tighten those screws, and then of course once you have all connectors put together, then you can put together the upper piece and then the lower piece. Then again, be careful here, this clock spring doesn't turn around. It does have to put a little bit of tape right here so this doesn't just move, it doesn't keep on moving, but you have to remove it before you put the steering wheel on. And then you put the steering wheel on, you're gonna put this bolt for the steering column. It's recommended you replace it. If you decide to not to, we still at least the least you can do is put some thread locker on it. You can see there was some on there. So, and then when you reinstall this, you need to torque that to spec, and then put this the airbag. When you install the airbag, you're gonna come from the top, hook up this part first. So you're gonna come down like this, and then you simply just push this in. Make sure that these orange pieces on the back of the airbag, make sure that these are pressed in. This yellow is going to go yellow, and then black on black. You can't switch these two connectors, they're not going to fit. And then go only in one position. So the black is going to go there in one position. It cannot go this way, it has to go in exact position. And same thing for the yellow. And then that's it. And then you want to reconnect the battery. And then you might notice that your traction control ABS light might be on. So what you want to do is start the vehicle, turn the steering wheel all the way to the left and then all the way to the right. A couple of times, repeat that, then drive for 2-3 minutes, and that should reset your ABS traction control, as it resets does a calibration of the steering angle sensor here. So that's it. It's pretty straightforward. The trickiest part is when you're installing a used clock spring, then there's a risk of that clock spring not being on center. So because usually you don't know in what position that clock spring was. But as far as anything else about the procedure, pretty straightforward. Be extremely careful with the airbags because they can deploy and cause injuries and death. So thank you for watching. Bye.